Okay, we're back. And so now we're going to talk about to be female, to be a woman, to be anxious. And as I said, like that's what started today with the different, style of show today is because I had, you know, an anxiety attack, trying to get to the studio on time. So anxiety disorders is like the most common mental health disorder in the United States. And the data shows that for Black women, anxiety is way more chronic and the symptoms are way more intense for us than our white counterparts. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And it's the images of, Black women in our society that contribute to, us having the feelings of anxiety. You must understand that how we're viewed in this country. And there's three basic images of Black women. The strong Black woman, the angry Black woman, and the Jezebel video vixen. And, that's generally how we're viewed in society. And the strong Black woman, she has to keep on keeping on despite everything that she's going through, the single black mother, all of that is, contributes to anxiety. When you have that single Black mother who's taking care of everything and she's playing the dual role. She's being the mother, she's being the father, she's being everything. That will, wear you down. Like when you're the breadwinner, of your household, just like for men being, their ability to provide, causes them stress and anxiety, and, and how that, their position in society. It's the same thing for women. When she's forced to do it all on her own, or she's the main breadwinner, when she doesn't want to be the strong Black woman, a lot of us are thrust into that role by default, and we don't necessarily want that. We want to be vulnerable. We want to be, soft and, feminine and, all of those things. And when they think of Black women, they think of Black women as, these hardened, masculine energy is really, really high. And I've been accused of having high levels of masculine energy and told that, oh, you need to tone down your masculine energy and play up your feminine energy. And it's like, I would like to be able to do that. You know what I mean? But sometimes circumstances puts you in a position where you have to be more masculine. You have to be more tough. And you don't want to be. You want to be soft and feminine. But sometimes circumstances dictate otherwise. And, and that causes a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress on, Black women. And sometimes she does get resentful of that. So now we're into the angry aspect of it, because now she's resentful that she can't be soft and feminine, and she's, has to be masculine. She has to be hard, and she has to be, she has to be tough. We don't always want that. So the anger is the outward expression of that discomfort with the negative effect that's associated, with the anxiety. You got the Jezebel video vixen, where we're overly sexualized, and, where Black women, we're sexualized in very derogatory ways. We have social anxiety. We're in the workplaces, in colleges, in school settings, we are the first Black person or the first Black woman to do anything. And that puts a lot of pressure on us, where we have to represent the race and we have to also represent the gender. That's a lot of pressure. And with that pressure, comes the anxiety and, being the strong Black woman. So now you have the pressure of being the first woman, the first Black woman, and, having to be that strong. Coupled with that, yeah, that's going to put a lot of, pressure that, that breaks women. And it's really, really unfortunate that that we have that level of, that pressure that's thrust, upon us. We also, suffer from PTSD, just like the men, women suffer from, PTSD as well. And that is because, the rate of, let's say, the sexual assault from Black women is 3.5 times higher than that of any other group in the country. So just like with, our Black men, and the violence that's committed against them by the police and things like that, that contributes to their PTSD, what contributes to ours is the sexual violence. And that rate is so high, and we've talked about that in previous shows as well, the sexual trauma that we go through and the stats of Black women and that's been molested and, had to have dealt with the different levels of, sexual trauma, sexual harassment and misconduct and all. Yes, that's all part of it. And racism, that's another form of trauma that disproportionately affects Black women as well. So we have the double strike. The racism and the sexism, so that's, contributes to the PTSD as well. So there's, for us to get help, the stigma that's associated with seeking help, is disappearing. And I know a lot of women, way more so than men, that are getting treatment or are being treated for their mental health and emotional health concerns as well. And I applaud, all of the women in my circle who have taken the responsibility to get the treatment and to get the help that they need. Kudos to them. And, and I am proud of you ladies. I'm proud of you queens, for taking the responsibility so that you can show up for your family, so that you can show up for your men and you can show up for your sisters, and that you're taking charge, because we as healers, sometimes we have to pour, into our own cup, because we cannot, continue to give from an empty vessel. So if we're not getting fed, we cannot continue to give to everybody else, because it's on us to take care of our brothers, to take care, of our men, to take care of our children. So we have to take care of our emotional health, and we have to practice our self-care rituals, alongside of that. And we have to be responsible for those things so that we can show up and we can be available for our men and for our children and for our sisters. And we're there with our sister circles. We're there, with our moon rituals, and when we're having those healing circles and we're sitting up there and we're burning the candles and we're doing our thing. Yes, sisters, yes, this is what we need to be doing and what we need to focus on so that we can be available. And while don't leave our brothers out, make them part of it, make your spouses, make your brothers, make your friends, your homies, your brethrens. They have to be included in all of this. We cannot leave them behind. So yes, get ourselves together. We're the healers. We're the light. And we got to walk them through this darkness as we walk through it ourselves. We got to walk with them. And I know it's hard. And I know it's hard for, because you want the brothers to lead you. And, because we want to be that soft and feminine. But it may not come that way, sis. It may not come that way. You may have to take the lead. And that's okay. Okay? We have you. We have each other so that we can continue to lead each other. So let's be each other's peace. Let's be each other's balance. Let's be each other's strength so that we can continue and just spread it. So that this way we can all take care of each other. We cannot afford to not pay attention to these things any longer. Our community is suffering as a result of it. And I love you. And I know you love me. And I want to make sure that we're all taken care of. And our mental health and our emotional health should be on par and on the same level as our physical health. So when you're sitting up there having that annual physical, think about that you need to be investing in your emotional and mental health on the same level. Okay? There's no shame in it. There's no shame. And if you have to, take some medication, it's okay until you learn, to, the alternatives, whether it, the herbal alternatives, or, you want to invest, double up your sessions. It all depends on, what's feasible for you. You may not be able to financially be able to afford to double up your sessions, with the co-payments and, whether or not you have, the adequate, healthcare coverage. Yes, we understand all of that. So to supplement all of these things, you may have to find alternatives. Like I said, the sister circles and, brothers, you got to start forming your circles, and you gotta get your, be your brother's keepers, and y'all start getting together and, meeting and having y'all conversations, about it. You good, man? You know what I mean? You good, bro? You brethren, you all right? You got to do that. Sit down and, have your monthly or, whatever, so often, sit down and link up your brethrens and talk to them to make sure everything is, on the up and up. Because a lot of times we have these people that's in our lives that we claim as our brothers. We claim we love them. We claim, this is, your best homie. And we don't know what they're going through. And we're suffering in silence. They're suffering in silence. No more. No más. No más. When you link up your brethren and your sister and your brother and your sister, and you good? Are you okay, sis? You good? Actually be concerned about what they're going through. Don't just ask as some type of automated question, some type of generic question, some type of generic hail up. It's not generic. If you're going to ask, are you good? Be prepared for the answer. And when somebody asks you, are you good? You tell them, no, I'm not good. Be emotionally honest. Don't lie and say you good if you know you're not good. Say, yo, I'm going through it, man. I'm struggling. I need help. Be okay with saying that to each other. If this is somebody you call your day one, you're supposed to be able to tell your day one, yo, I'm struggling. It's hard. I'm stressed. Can you help me? If this is somebody who you love, you care about, your day one, who you refer to as your brethren, sister, whatever, brother, sister, fam, whatever you want to call it, you do not let them fall. You hold them up. You back them up. That's what you do. We hold each other up. So let this, and we 2019, the start of 2019, still early in 2019, be committed to not letting your brother and your sister fall. When you say, I got you, mean it. I got you. When you say, I love you, mean it, I love you. Because when you say that you love somebody, whether you're in their presence or you're not in their presence, you care and you concerned and you want the best for them in or out of your presence. When you say, I love you, that means you are there for them. That means I got you. If I love you, I got you. If I love you, I want the best for you. Every day, all day, and for everything, and in all circumstances. Whether I am with you or I am not. This is what I want for you. If I'm with you, I ride for you. Let that be how you live your life. Let that be how the type of friend that you are. I mean, I don't want to get too preachy or anything like that. But this is something that's very passionate. And this is something that means a lot to me. And like I said, I was trying to get to the studio and I didn't get there. But this conversation needed to be had. So in or out the studio, with or without a round table, full of people, I'm talking to you. We having this conversation. Me, you, and everybody that's out there. We talking. This is what it is. Be your brothers and sisters' keeper. And love each other in the most realist way. They need you. And you need them. And let's not front about it no more. Let's not be emotionally dishonest about what's happening and what's taking place with our people. So there is no, I don't have any experience and I don't know anything about this, because we all know. We all experience PTSD. We're black in America. We know what PTSD is. Okay? We have our anxieties every single day when we try to provide for our families, man, woman, or otherwise. We know that level of anxiety when we sitting up there talking about, oh, I'm just another day on the plantation. You calling it the plantation because you know you slaving and you there because you got to feed your family. You know what anxiety is. Stop it. Let's be real about what's happening. Okay? This is Sesheta Khepra. Another episode of SoulShare. And I just want to thank We Say What They Can't Radio for giving me this opportunity. And I wasn't in the studio, but it's okay. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. Bless love, y'all.